Hi boys and girls, so now we're going to do math. We are starting a new topic. Our topic is Unit 12, Identify and Describe Shapes. So we're going to be learning in this lesson about solid shapes and flat shapes. So let me turn my camera on me so I can show you some solid shapes I have here. You've seen this in class before, so I'm going to show you some solid shapes, right? This is a solid shape and this is called a sphere. We're going to be learning about three-dimensional shapes. This is a sphere. Next, we have a cube. You see how you can see the top, the bottom, front, and back. These are called solid shapes, and they're also called three-dimensional shapes, okay? This is a cube. My next one is a cone. So think of it like an ice cream cone. So this is a cone. You can feel the bottom flat. It's flat on the bottom, points on the top, you know. This is also a solid shape, also a three-dimensional shape. Is a cone. Next one I have is a pyramid. So this 1, 2, 3 flat. This is a solid shape, also a three-dimensional shape. Okay, and I think that's it for my solid shapes. So I'm going to go over them one more time, okay? These are the ones that you're going to be seeing in your workbooks, okay? So cube, sphere, pyramid, and cone. Actually, we're missing a cylinder. Oh, here we go. Here is my cylinder. This is a cylinder. Okay, so these are all three-dimensional shapes. Cylinder, cone, pyramid, sphere, and cube. You don't need to know the names today because later on over each lesson we're going to be learning the names of each three-dimensional shape. Right now we're only calling these solid shapes, okay? Flat shapes are shapes like this. And I put it on my whiteboard. These are flat shapes and you already know these. Triangle, rectangle, square, circle. These are flat shapes, okay? These are two-dimensional shapes, okay? Now let's go over the three-dimensional shapes, or the same shapes that I showed you, but I put them on my whiteboard. Three-dimensional shapes are these, and they're also called the solid shapes. So like the cone, the cube, the sphere, and this is the, oh, I forgot the name of this. It's kind of a triangle, but it's a rectangle prism. There you go. So this one is three-dimensional shapes and also solid shapes. Okay, so I'm going to be working on solid and flat shapes. So these are solid. These are flat. Let's go to we do this in class, so we're going to do our visual learning.
How do you sort objects? Let's take a look.
What shapes do you see? You see a hexagon, circle, square, and rectangle. What word does Emily use to describe these shapes? She uses the word flat. In what ways are these shapes the same? They are all flat. Flat shapes are also called two-dimensional shapes. What is another shape Emily could put in this box? You could put a triangle in the box. What objects do you see in this box? You see a soccer ball, a basket, a tissue box, a curved block, a traffic cone, a can, and a tent. How are the objects in this box different from the objects in the first box? The objects in this box are thicker. They are three-dimensional shapes. These shapes are also called solids.
So decide if each object is flat or solid. So I'm going to do this, watch at home. So I'm going to sort them out. We're going to sort them out in flat in the first box, and the second box says solid. So I'm going to sort them out, okay? So right here I have an orange cone, and that one will be solid. Right here I have a basket, and I can see the top of it, and I know that is a solid. Here I have a can, also known as a cylinder, also solid. Right here I have a square. I know that's flat because I can't see the top of the shape. I can't see the sides of the shape, so I'm going to put that in the flat. Then over here I have another little round cube. It's like a cylinder that's going to go in solid. Circle, flat. Rectangle, flat. Triangle, flat. Hexagon, flat. A tent, I can see the side and the front. Solid. Soccer ball, solid. Tissue box, solid. So see, boys and girls, can you see the difference of each between a solid shape and a flat shape? So let's go over them. The flat is square, rectangle, hexagon, circle, and a triangle. These are all flat shapes because, boys and girls, we can't see their sides. We can't see the top of them. We can just see the front of them, okay? Next is the solid shapes, and these shapes you can see the top. So like the can, you see I'm gonna make it big, the cone, the soccer ball, the tent, the tissue box, and then we have the basket, and there's one more shape back there. Let me see if I can get it. There you go, that one right there. These, boys and girls, are all the solid shapes, okay? Let's click next.
What is another object Emily could put in this box? She could put an orange in this box. An orange has thickness. It is a solid shape.
Now, we're done with that. That's your visual learning. This is in your workbook. This is only lesson 1, 12.1. Okay, here is the lesson that you have to do in your workbook. The visual learning is the first page that we did, and I'm gonna go over each one. So this is in your workbook. So if you have your workbook out right now, take it out and we can do this together. So number 1 says, draw a circle around the objects that are flat and mark an X on the objects that are solid. So obviously they already did this for you. This is a guided practice. So the pyramid is a solid shape, so they put an X. The circle is a flat shape, so they put a circle because we're only circling flat shapes. The triangle is another flat shape, so they circled it. Solid shapes are the X's. So the pyramid and the cereal box are both solid shapes, so those are X's. The 2 in the middle, the circle and the triangle, are flat shapes, so they put a circle. Number 2, 3, you have to do the same thing. You have to draw a circle on the flat shapes and mark an X on the solid shapes. So let's go over the cube. For number 2 is a solid. That is a circle, yes, but it's a sphere because it's a marble. So that's going to be a solid shape. That's also an X. Then the hexagon and the rectangle are flat shapes. So those are going to be circles. Now you can do number 3 on your own. You have a cone, a cylinder, a triangle, and you have a watermelon. So this one, be careful because the watermelon is actually not a flat shape. It's actually a solid shape. So if it's a solid, it has to be an X. So I kind of already gave you a clue there, okay? 4 and 5, it says mark an X on the objects that are not flat. So number 4, it says which ones is not flat. So the first one, we have a circle that's blue. Is that flat? Yes, it is. Then we have a box, but you can see the top of it. Now you know it says not flat. So if it's not flat, it gets an X. Then you have a pink circle. If it's flat, you leave it alone. Then you have a cone, a birthday hat. So for number 4, you have to find the one that is not flat. Not. So there's only one that is not flat, okay? Actually, no, there's 2 that are not flat. I'm sorry. There's 2. Number 4 has 2 that are not flat. Number 5 says mark an X on the objects that are not solid. So right here you have to find all the solids, and the ones that are not solid, you have to put an X, okay? Number 6, this is an independent practice. This mark an X on the objects that are solid. So you have to find all the solids, okay? So look at all the images like the cylinder and the rectangle prism. So you're only for number 6 is finding only the solid shapes. Then you're gonna draw a circle around the flat shape. So do one step at a time. The solid gets the X and the flat gets the circle. Number 7, mark an X on the objects that are not solid. And then for number 8, you're gonna draw a picture of an object that is solid. So look around your house, find things that are 3-dimensional shapes that are solid. So like if you have a can of soup, that's a solid shape, that is a cylinder. If you have a tissue box at home, that is a rectangle prism, so that's also a solid. An orange is a solid because it's thick. Anything that you see at home that are solid shapes. So if you have someone at home that can help you with that, then they can help you. So I'm going to talk in Spanish. Estamos aprendiendo de figuras que son de 2 dimensionales y 3. So, por ejemplo, figuras que son como que tienen como puedes ver encima, abajo, por lado. So, por ejemplo, una caja puedes ver encima y abajo. So, eso va a ser 3 dimensionales. Y, por ejemplo, si no puedes ver los lados, son de 2. So, los niños van a practicar haciendo figuras de 2 dimensionales y 3 dimensionales. Ojalá que lo dije bien. Okay, so this is in your workbook. So work at this at home. Let's see. After that, you have homework, and your homework is right here. I think I have it for you. Yes, so your homework is this. 12.1, you're going to have to do this for homework. This is for lesson 1. It's only 5 questions. So your workbook is something else, but your homework is this. Practice additional 12/1, which is 2-dimensional 2D and 3-dimensional 3D. So this is your homework. I have your homework here. I already spoke to your parents. If they need the homework, I will email it to you, and I will also have it here for you if your parents need to come pick up your homework, okay? So this is homework, work in your workbooks. We'll only work on lesson 12.1, and then for homework 12.1, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Tomorrow I'm going to send you some videos about 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes, okay? Don't worry about learning the names of these 3-dimensional shapes. We're going to go over them. Right now we're only learning flat and solid shapes. So I'm going to show you again with my camera, okay? So you have the flat shapes, and then your solid shapes, which is the cube, the sphere, the pyramid, the cone, and the cylinder, okay? So sphere, cube, pyramid, cone, and cylinder, okay? These are 3-dimensional shapes. Oh, that's there, okay? And then we're gonna stop.